Hello everybody, I'm back with another video. In this video, I'm going to deal with microbiology, which is the second unit of intermediate second year botany. Now let us discuss about microbiology. Actually, what is microbiology? By saying the name itself, you can say micro means small, bio means life. As you all know, logy means study. Now tell the meaning of microbiology. Study of small life. Life means living creatures or living organisms. So now study of small living organisms is called as microbiology. This is the meaning of microbiology. From where did the word come microbiology? It is a Greek word. Microbiology is a Greek word, Greek language. It belongs to Greek language. Okay, now coming to the definition of microbiology. It is a branch of biology that deals with the study of microorganisms that are too small to be seen by the naked eye. They are very small that we cannot see through our naked eyes. The study of microorganisms that are too small, they cannot be seen through our naked eyes. We can see microorganisms only under the microscope. Tell me some examples of microorganisms. Protozoa, bacteria, viruses, and some microscopic algae and fungi. All these are some examples of microorganisms. Can we see these organisms through our naked eyes? No, we cannot see. We can see only under the microscope. So study of such small organisms is called as microbiology. Right. These are some examples of microorganisms. Now here we have to know about one great scientist. His name is Anton van Leeuwenhoek. Anton van Leeuwenhoek. Anton van Leeuwenhoek. He is regarded as the father of microbiology. Who is the father of microbiology? Anton van Leeuwenhoek is regarded as the father of microbiology. Very important. Due to his vigorous work in this field, he is regarded as the father of microbiology. Who is he? Anton van Leeuwenhoek. Anton van Leeuwenhoek is the father of microbiology. He called these microorganisms as animalcules. Animalcules. He called these microorganisms as animalcules. And where did he find the microorganisms first? First, he found the microorganisms in water droplets and teeth particles. Right? In water droplets, soil and air. These microorganisms are present in each and every place. In almost each and every place, microorganisms are present. For example, water droplet, soil, air, etc. Right. Now, in this unit, you are going to study about bacteria and viruses. A detailed version of bacteria and viruses. In unit 2, you are having 2 chapters. 7th chapter is bacteria. 8th chapter is viruses. 7th chapter bacteria. Under bacteria, we are going to cover morphology of bacteria, cell structure, nutrition, reproduction and importance of bacteria to the human beings. These are the topics we are going to cover under bacteria. Now, bacteria are the most abundant organisms that are found on the earth. Study of bacteria is called as bacteriology. What is the study of bacteria called as? Bacteriology. And who is the father of bacteriology? Louis Pasteur. Louis Pasteur is considered as the father of bacteriology. Coming to some examples of bacteria. E. coli, Salmonella typhi, Xanthomonas. These are the some examples of bacteria. E. coli, Salmonella typhi, Xanthomonas are some of the examples of bacteria. Right. Now coming to the morphology of bacteria. Bacteria are very small in size that can be seen only under the microscope. The size ranges between 2.0 micrometers to 5.0 micrometers in length and 0.5 micrometers to 1.0 micrometers in breadth. Under this range only the bacteria size is present. And the smallest bacteria is Mycoplasma. Largest bacteria is Thiomargarita. Very important. Smallest bacteria is Mycoplasma. These are seen in dead and decayed waste materials. And largest bacteria is Thiomargarita. These are generally present in oceans. So this is about the size of bacteria. Coming to the shape of bacteria. Mainly bacterial cells have four shapes. They are spherical, elongated rods, spiral and comma shape. These are the four main shapes of bacteria. Spherical bacteria are also called as coccus. The shape is spherical, means round shaped. Next, elongated rods, they are also called as bacillus. As the name indicates, the shape is like elongated rods. Next, third one, spiral. Spiral bacteria are also called as spirillus. They are wave or spring shaped. Next, comma shaped. Comma shaped are also called as vibrios. They are shaped like comma. Comma. Right. These are the four shapes of bacteria: spherical, elongated rods, spiral and comma shaped. Spherical are also called as coccus. Elongated rods are called bacillus. Spiral are called spirillus. Comma shaped are called vibrios. Another form of bacteria are present. They are called as pleomorphic form. Pleomorphic form. Pleomorphic form means some bacteria will be there. The bacteria that keep on changing their shape depending upon the environment and nutrients available. Some bacteria, they keep on changing their shapes. Say from coccus to bacillus, bacillus to spirillus, like that they keep on changing their shapes depending on the environment and nutrients available for them. Those bacteria are called as pleomorphic form, and example for such type of bacteria is Acetobacter. Acetobacter, very important. Depending on the arrangement of cells in bacteria, the coccus and bacillus are again divided into different types. Coccus and bacillus, different types of coccus and bacillus are there. We will see them now in detail. First, let's see the types of coccus. Depending on the cell arrangement and the number of cells, coccus are divided into 6 types. They are Monococcus, Diplococcus, Tetracoccus, Streptococcus, Staphylococcus, and last one is Yersinia. Monococcus. Monococcus means, as the name itself indicates, mono means single. Coccus means, as I already said, coccus means round shaped. So, monococcus means single round shaped cell. Right. Diplococcus means, in the same way, diplo means two, a pair of round cells, coccus cells arranged side by side. Next, tetracoccus. Tetracoccus means a group of 4 cells. A group of 4 cells. Streptococcus. Streptococcus means a row of cells arranged in a single row. A group of cells arranged in a single row. Right. Next, Staphylococcus. Staphylococcus doesn't have any shape, means irregular arrangement of cells. Like this. Staphylococcus means irregular arrangement of cells. They do not show any particular shape. They are irregularly arranged cells. Last one is Yersinia. In Yersinia, a group of 8 cells. How many cells? 8 cells are arranged to form a cube. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Like this, cube. A group of 8 cells arranged to form a cube-like structure. These are the 6 types of coccus cells: Monococcus, Diplococcus, Tetracoccus, Streptococcus, Staphylococcus and Sarcinae. Now let us see the types of bacillus. Types of bacillus. Monobacillus, Diplobacillus, Streptobacillus are the three types of bacillus cells. Monobacillus. Bacillus means what I said? Rod-shaped cell. Right. Monobacillus. Now you can say mono means single. Bacillus means rod-shaped cell. Single rod-shaped cell. Right. Diplobacillus. Again, as the name indicates, diplo is two cells. Bacillus means rod-shaped. Diplobacillus means a pair of rod-shaped cells. Those are arranged side by side. Next, last one is Streptobacillus. Streptobacillus, here the cells are arranged in one single row. Finally, it looks like a straw, isn't it? Yes, it is looking like a straw. A group of cells arranged in a row that looks like a straw. This is about the types of bacilli. Coming to the bacterial cell structure. Bacterial cell structure is same as prokaryotic cell. However, the two variant components we are going to study here are flagella and plasmids. First one, flagella. What is flagella? Flagella is a small hair-like structure that is present on the bacterial cell. Flagella is a small hair-like structure that is present on the bacterial cell. Right. What is the use of flagella? It helps in movement of bacteria. It helps in wave-like movement of bacteria and helps to move from one place to another place. Depending on the arrangement of flagella on the bacterial cell, the bacteria are divided into 5 types. They are Atrichus, Monotrichus, Lophotrichus, Amphitrichus and Peritrichus. These are the 5 types of bacteria depending on the arrangement and number of flagella present. Right. First one, let us see Atrichus. Atrichus means, assume this is a bacterial cell and Atrichus means flagella is absent. No flagella. Atrichus means no flagella. Next, Monotrichus. Mono means, as you all know, mono means single. Single flagella is present on the bacterial cell. Next, Lophotrichus. In Lophotrichus, single or many flagella are present on the one side of the cell. Next, Amphitrichus. Amphitrichus means single or many flagella present on the both sides of the cell. Here and here, both sides of the cell, one or single or many flagella are present. Next, Peritrichus. In Peritrichus, the flagella are distributed all over the cell. What happens in Peritrichus? The flagella are distributed all over the cell. Right, this is about the types of flagella. Next, coming to the plasmids. What are plasmids? In addition to the bacterial chromosome, that is genophore, some bacteria also contain small circular dsDNA molecules. DS means double-stranded DNA molecules. It is called as plasmids. What are plasmids? Let me explain again. In addition to the bacterial chromosome means genophore. What is genophore? The main bacterial chromosome. In bacteria, some genetic material will be present. Assume this is a bacteria. In this, some genetic material will be present. Say that is circular DNA. Circular DNA. Okay, this is called as genophore. In some bacteria, in addition to this circular DNA, what is present? Double-stranded DNA. Circular double-stranded DNA is also present. That is called as plasmid. Okay. In addition to the circular DNA, double-stranded DNA is also present in some bacteria. That is called as plasmid. What is plasmid? In addition to the bacterial chromosome, which is circular DNA, in addition to this, some bacteria contain small circular double-stranded DNA. This is called as plasmids. Right. This is very important 2 marks question. Okay. Once again I am repeating. In addition to the bacterial chromosome, that is genophore. Genophore means circular DNA. Some bacteria also contain small circular double-stranded DNA molecules also. This is called as plasmids. Remember this word. In conjugation process, this is going to play a major role. Coming to the nutrition of bacteria. The main determinants of bacterial nutrition types are its sources from carbon and energy. Depending on the sources of energy and carbon, the bacteria are divided into 4 nutritional groups. They are photoautotrophs, chemoautotrophs, photoheterotrophs and chemoheterotrophs. These are the 4 nutritional groups of bacteria. First one, photoautotrophs. Photoautotrophs derive their energy from light energy and carbon from the atmospheric carbon dioxide. Examples for this group of bacteria are Chromatium and Chlorobium. Next, coming to chemoautotrophs. Chemoautotrophs derive their energy from oxidation of inorganic substances and derive their carbon from atmospheric carbon dioxide. Examples for these are Nitrosomonas and Nitrobacter. Next one is photoheterotrophs. Photoheterotrophs derive their energy from light energy and carbon from organic sources. In contrast, chemoautotrophs derive their energy and carbon both from organic substances only. These are again divided into 2 types. They are saprophytes and parasites. Saprophytes are free-living organisms. They depend on the dead and decayed particles for their energy and carbon sources. Now, example for these saprophytes are bacillus. Next one is parasites. Parasites depend on plants and animal cells and tissues. They feed on the cells and tissues of plants and human beings. Example for this type is Salmonella. Right, these are the 4 nutritional groups of bacterial cells. Our next topic is reproduction in bacteria. In bacteria, reproduction takes place in 2 ways. Asexual reproduction and sexual reproduction. Asexual reproduction takes place through binary fission. Guys, do you remember in intermediate first year we have already studied that bacterial cell commonly divides through binary fission. Right. What happens in binary fission? One bacterial cell divides to form 2 identical daughter cells. This is what happens in binary fission. Now coming to sexual reproduction. Here in bacteria, true sexual reproduction is absent. Means gamete formation is absent here. But the essence of sexual reproduction, that is transfer of DNA from one bacterial cell to another bacterial cell, is present here. Means transfer of DNA takes place. So we can say it as sexual reproduction. This takes place in 3 ways: conjugation, transformation and transduction. These are the 3 ways through which sexual reproduction takes place in bacteria. So let us see all the 3 ways in detail. First one, conjugation. In this process, 2 live bacterium come together and the donor cell directly donates the DNA to the recipient cell. This is what happens in conjugation. Donor cell directly donates the DNA to the recipient cell. This process was first observed by Lederberg and Tatum in the year 1946 in the bacterium called as E. coli. In this bacteria, conjugation process was observed first. So, to perform conjugation, a special apparatus is required. It is called as conjugation tube or sex pilus or pilus. These are the 3 names given to that special apparatus to perform conjugation process. Let's see this in detail. Assume these are the 2 live bacterium. One is donor, the other is recipient. The donor cell is also called as F plus cell, and the recipient cell is also called as F minus cell. Why this is called as F plus and this as F minus? Because F plus cell contains plasmid. What are plasmids? Just now I said plasmids are the additional DNA molecules present in some bacterium. Normally in all bacteriums, bacterial chromosome is present in all bacteria, right? Only in some bacterium plasmids are present. Plasmids are the additional DNA present in some bacteria. Clear? Now in F plus cell, this conjugation tube is formed. This is the conjugation tube. It is formed in F plus cells. In F minus, plasmid is absent, right? This conjugation tube is formed in F plus cells. Once the conjugation tube is formed, it attaches to the recipient cell. Once the conjugation tube is formed, it attaches to the recipient cell like this. Okay. This is F plus, this is F minus cell. Once it attaches, it starts dragging the cells together. Means what happens here? The conjugation tube becomes shorter in length. It becomes shorter in length and drags the two cells together. In the next step, like this. Drags the two cells together and a bridge is formed between the two cells. Like this. Right. In this step, what happens? The plasmid starts replicating. What is replication? In simple terms, replication means forming a Xerox copy. Same identical copy of plasmid is formed here. So, this Xerox copy is sent to the recipient cell. Here two enzymes will help in replication process. They are relaxosome and transferosome. These are the two enzymes that helps in replication process. After replication, that moves to the recipient cell, and now the both cells have one normal DNA chromosome and the other one is plasmid. So two cells are designated as F plus cells now. These both cells are the new donors. As they are having plasmids, the both cells are new donors now. This is the conjugation process. This is very important 4 marks question for your IPE. Okay. Next, transformation. The bacterial genetic recombination was first discovered by Frederick Griffith in the year 1928. In this process, the uptake of naked DNA fragments from the surrounding environment and expression of that genetic information by the recipient cell. What happens here? The uptake of naked DNA fragments from the surrounding environments and the expression of that genetic information in the recipient cell. It means it has now acquired the genetic information that it lacked previously. Right. This process is called transformation. Next, coming to transduction. Transduction process was first observed by Lederberg and Zinder. Lederberg and Zinder in the bacteria called as Salmonella typhimurium. This process is transformation of DNA from one bacterium to another bacterium through bacteriophages. Transformation of DNA from one bacterium to another bacterium through bacteriophages. This is bacteriophage. What is bacteriophages? Bacteriophages are the bacteria which are infected by the viruses. Bacteriophages are the bacteria which are infected by viruses. The detailed versions of bacteriophages we will see in our next chapter, viruses. Right. What is transduction? The transformation of DNA from one bacteria to another bacteria through bacteriophages. Our last topic is importance of bacteria to humans. As we all know that many bacteria causes many diseases and infections in plants as well as human beings, there are many bacteria that are very helpful directly or indirectly to human beings. So they are called as friends and foes of man. Friends and foes of man. Here are the some diseases caused by bacteria to human beings as well as plants. First, let's see the diseases in human beings. First one, Clostridium tetani. This bacteria causes tetanus disease. This is related to muscles. Clostridium tetani causes tetanus disease. Next one, Clostridium botulinum. This causes botulism. Botulism means food poisoning. Next, Vibrio cholerae. This bacteria causes cholera disease. Next one, Salmonella typhi. This causes typhoid. Next, Corynebacterium diphtheriae. This causes diphtheria. Next, Microbacterium tuberculosis. This causes TB, means tuberculosis. Next is Diplococcus pneumoniae. This causes pneumonia, lungs related disease. Next, Microbacterium leprae. This causes leprosy. This is a skin related disease. These are some of the diseases caused by bacterium to human beings. Now let's see some diseases caused by bacteria in plants. Xanthomonas oryzae is the bacteria that causes blight of rice in paddy. And Xanthomonas actinopodis causes citrus canker in citrus plants. Next, Agrobacterium tumefaciens. This causes crown gall of apples and pear. Apples and pear. These are some of the diseases in human beings and plants. Now let's see some of the important uses of bacteria to human beings. Microbes are nowadays used for biomining. What is biomining? Biomining is a process of extracting the most valuable metals like uranium from rocks. Extracting the most valuable metals from rocks is called as biomining. This biomining process reduces the cost of production by more than 50%. Next use is the extracted DNA from the bacteria are used as biosensors. Biosensors, they detect the actively toxic pollutants. Next, bacteria also find their uses in applications in medical diagnostics as well as food and fermentation operations. These bacteria find their applications in biotechnology also and also genetic engineering. These are the uses of bacteria. This is all about the 7th chapter bacteria. In my next video, you are going to say about viruses. Thank you all.